What if I told you that you're not just unlucky, that you're not just a scrub, and that you're not washed when it comes to Nike sneaker draws, but rather that you are just being cheated, that people are cheating the system? Of course they are. Stay tuned. So, if you're into sneakers at all, today you probably know March 30th of 2018, Nike and Off-White dropped their collaboration of the Vapor Max, the second one, the one with the clear soles, and it of course dropped on Nike sneakers today. It also dropped on a couple other websites and dropped in some stores. There was also a whole bunch of raffles. But today I want to focus mainly on the Nike sneakers and talk about why you never win one of the drawings for the shoes. And it's not because, oh, you're just unlucky. Truth be told, the odds are stacked against you if you are trying to do Nike sneakers manually under one account, or even if you're trying to find a way to jig to do it under like 3 accounts, 5 accounts, 10 accounts, heck, 50 accounts. The system is still stacked against you. It's very unlikely that you're going to end up winning one of these raffles, especially one with a shoe of this caliber. So in this video, like I said, I'm going to talk about why that is, what's happening, and why sometimes, if you're like me, you go on Twitter and you see people with like 6 to 10 to 20 to even more than that when it came to the Sean Witherspoon emails saying that they got the shoe and it's from Nike. So yeah, let's talk about this. So I've seen some YouTubers like Keith Adams, shout out Keith Adams, check out his YouTube channel. It's definitely bigger than mine. It's growing like crazy. But I've seen videos with Keith Adams where initially he was saying, you know, let's do the multiple people jig on Nike sneakers, and at the time it was working. You could create multiple accounts manually, just get like phone numbers from your friends, phone numbers from family, stuff like that, make multiple accounts, and you would have a better chance at winning the shoe. Recently that's changed, and a lot of the times what will happen is if you do that, Nike will find out and they'll actually devalidate all of your entries. Sometimes they'll ban the accounts, sometimes they'll make it to where you can't even visit the site for a little while. So Keith Adams has advised to stop doing that. I would advise you probably shouldn't do that either. I have seen that it's still possible. I've seen people manually enter in with 3 different accounts using slightly different addresses, different phone numbers, and different payment methods, like on one account using PayPal, on one using one card, on one using another, and that seems to still work. But overall, I think that it's a waste of time. And the reason is because of bots. So if you've been into getting sneakers for a while, bots isn't going to be anything new. I'm sure you've heard of them, but there is a bot that's going around, and it's been fairly recently that it's started to go around, that is essentially allowing you to preload pre-verified Nike accounts and then proxies into it, and then enter the drawing however many times with however many accounts you have and however many proxies you have. You could of course do them without proxies, but I think that this method in particular, you do need proxies because it makes the accounts seem more legitimate when they go through. That way they have a lot less chance of getting canceled by Nike. But basically, there's these programs where people are loading in these accounts, loading in these proxies, clicking run, and then it is submitting hundreds or thousands of entries into these drawings, giving them a much better chance at getting the shoes. So as I'm sure you can imagine, that person who's entering, say, like 1,300 times is going to have a way better chance than you, who's trying to play by the rules, who's entering, you know, once on the app while you're on the go, or once on the app, you know, on the website, or even if you're manually creating like 3 accounts, 5 accounts, 10 accounts, 20 accounts even, if you're just trying to manually enter in with 20 accounts, that person with these pre-verified accounts in this bot is going to have a much better chance at getting these shoes than you. They're going to get multiple pairs because they're submitting it with multiple profiles with slightly modified addresses, different addresses altogether, like their friends, their families. They're entering in with different card information, they're entering in with privacy cards. They're doing all these things to diversify the entries to make it look like, you know, multiple people are entering when really it's just one person running a bunch of different Nike accounts to get these shoes. And another thing about these bots is that you can't just go out, like let's just say you're somebody and you decide, hey, I know this is going on, I want to level the playing field, I want to be on the same level as these people because clearly I want these shoes. my entry isn't going to work because it's one entry. These people are doing hundreds and thousands of entries, so I want to do the same thing. Well, it's not actually that simple. The devs for these are smart, and what they do is they limit the amount of copies they release. That way, the people that they release the copies to still see success, because imagine if everybody had these bots at this point. Then you just see that it would just be the same situation as it is now with people who enter manually. It would basically just be a bot war, and it kind of already is to some extent, but bots would literally just be battling each other out. It'd basically be just a bunch of people submitting as many accounts as they can, which again, like I said, is already happening. There's already bots competing with each other that do the same thing, but a lot of them, like I said, are limiting the amount of copies they sell. That way, it doesn't limit the success of the people that manage to get the bot. The people that manage to get the bot and actually utilize it correctly are seeing a bunch of success. Keeping the bot relevant to that point, keeping people paying for it, and keeping people in the loop with the bot. So I guess the next question is, what's the solution? Well, I'm just a regular guy, so I honestly don't know what the best solution would be. If I were to propose any sort of solution, it would actually be to point over to Adidas and be like, hey, yeah, Adidas still gets hit by bots, like Splash Force and stuff like that, which if I ever do any more videos like this, I'll talk about. But if you've ever done an Adidas drop, you've probably had luck, because for whatever reason, whatever Adidas does with their waiting line or their splash page or whatever you want to call it, on like easy and human race releases, it's not. I mean, depending on how you do it and what you know, it's either easy or it's at least bearable or at least coppable, or at least plausible for you to get. A pair of Yeezys or a pair of human races. It's not completely impossible. The odds are stacked against you, but not, by a heavy amount. So yeah, if I were to propose a solution, my solution would be to look at Adidas, look at what they're doing with their Yeezy releases, and see if there's any way to emulate that or get close to that, because clearly these drawings don't work. Clearly they're being abused by people who just have all these Nike accounts, have these bots that can submit all these drawings under these Nike accounts. So yeah, that would be my proposal. Another solution, of course, is to do some sort of rework, completely change the way that the system works. It doesn't necessarily have to be like Adidas, but change the drawing system, get better at detecting multiple entries. Obviously, it's hard to blame Nike for not being able to detect all these entries, because people who have these bots and who know what they're doing are really good at diversifying the information and making it look like there's legitimately, multiple people or different people entering these drawings. But if they can find a way, if Nike could find a way to better, track these or stop them, or have a back-end system that detects these and stops these extra entries, that would work too. But I feel like if Nike sticks with their current draw system or sticks with the way they do things now, there's always just going to be a workaround. Someone's always just going to find a workaround, and let's be honest, even if they were to change to a system like Adidas, someone will find a workaround. So, yeah, kind of depressing. You might even be able to tell my voice that it gets depressing when I talk about it. But I think it's even worse for people that really, really, really care about these sneakers or really, really want a pair, especially when you're one of those people that stay up, or make sure you wake up to enter these Nike sneakers drawings, thinking, hey, I have a fair chance. Well, you don't. You honestly don't. The odds are stacked against you. People are abusing the system. So I would advise not staying up. If you're going to set an alarm to enter these, set an alarm, enter the Nike sneakers, and lay back down and just hope that you get see success. Don't dwell on it or anything like that, because honestly the odds are stacked against you.